Hi, Chris Lesso here. Hope you're awesome. Something I've been thinking a lot about lately is the power of space. And this is where creativity comes from. And this is really if you've heard of the concept of flow, this is really where how to get in there is through allowing space in our lives, and that's so challenging. I mean, this is the most distracted, high-paced time in human history, like the entire time humans have been alive. So obviously, our brains are not really designed for this, but allowing for space. Like I can remember having some lessons with Jim Blackley years ago, and he has this concept of playing the ride cymbal, but you're playing at a 40 BPM. So you're like hitting that quarter note and you've got it feels like an eternity, but just the amount of time between that space and then you hit the next one. And I recently had a conversation with Mark Kelso, and he was talking about like he's pulled it down to 30 BPM, practicing 30 BPM, which then when you go to 40 BPM, that feels fast. So a lesson with Jim Blackley would feel fast, I guess. And there's a drummer in New York City. His name is Dan Weiss, and I heard he's experimenting with 1 BPM. 1 BPM. So that's one ride hit, I guess, per minute. So that is serious space. Doing things like Tai Chi, and especially taking your phone and shutting off all the notifications, or my phone right now is on airplane mode because I want to create a bit of space to share this idea with you and just take a breath in my day. And it doesn't have to be long, it can be a couple minutes. I'm going for a 10-minute walk, that kind of thing. But it's just the concept of space. And I have a lot of teenage students. I was like the worst teenager, but in back in my day, this amount of distractions wasn't happening. And a constant thing I notice with my students who want to get better at drums, and I want to empower them with tools that will improve their lives through drumming and which will impact their entire life. One of it is turning your notifications off. It's a simple idea. I'm sure you've heard people ranting about this and maybe lecturing you about it, but technology is a great servant but a terrible master. And what I notice sometimes with friends of mine have kids, I have my students, and this would go for like 8 or 9 year olds too, and 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, is, sometimes you'll turn on a phone and you'll see 15 Snapchat notifications, or it's going, spend some time in an airport or something like that, and you'll hear ping, ping, ping. And something I read recently was that can actually rewire the brain permanently, where it can't drop down to the lower brain waves. I think it's the beta waves, or dropping down into the lower, calmer kind of vibrations in the brain, and that's where flow lives and genius lives and creativity lives. So your best ideas and that sense of peace, having peace in your life, strength and calm. And if you're in any, most people are creative. Most people have to be creative in some form. That's where it lives. It lives in the space. If you fill that space up, that's where I think the anxiety comes in, and the fear. And anxiety and fear really is the enemy of confidence, creativity, and just a peace of mind and a sense of who we are. So something I've been trying to do is get good at being bored. Just if I'm in a bank lineup, I'm trying not to pull out my phone and get a bit of entertainment, and I'm just trying to be bored and create and just stare off into space and create a bit of space in my life. So I've been trying to create space in my drumming and my music, and also in my life by things like I want to start doing Tai Chi and calligraphy and just walks and meditating, and just even if it's 1 minute, just little ways to create space. So really think of what your technology is doing. If it's constantly hammering your brain with filling up that space, and even if you have, like, I have a lot of friends that had the summer off, and you talk to them, it's like, okay, 3 weeks we're going on this trip and then we're coming back and we're doing this and then we're going to visit these people, and it's like all of a sudden that space gets filled up. Sometimes it's good to have nothing, and just to have that space and allow something to come up there, whether it's your creativity and insight. And whenever I've had that time, it's been sometimes the most, my brain resists it, but then I found it to be some of the most valuable time that I spend is space. So I'm really finding strength in space, creativity in space, and authenticity in space. So it's a challenge, but just think about it, where it fits into your life and how you could grow that concept. Space, nothingness. Have fun with that. Hope you're awesome. I'll talk to you soon.